Everyone, Gomer here, back with another video, welcoming you back to Port Union. I'd like to thank you guys for going on another adventure with me today. So the first thing we're going to do is, pause the world here, and we're going to open up the map tiles. And I think we're going to unlock these 4 map tiles. That way we have some room for growth. I think it's time to, I think it's time to install some more roads and get some of the more major construction bits and bobs out of the way here for Port Union. So we're going to actually do what I talked about from the very beginning and install the highway, and we're going to go with the 4-lane, and we're not going to go very high above the main road here. And what I think I'm trying to mimic here, and if I got this correct, in New York there is a Rockaway highway. And I believe there's some highways similar to that in Chicago as well. And again, kind of a little nod to me, as well as Port Union being related to Toronto. I also live in the state of Illinois currently. So, I don't live in Chicago, no, but Chicago, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, has the same styles of highway as well as the Rockaway Highway, an elevated highway like the one you're seeing built right now. So, kind of uniqueness, and somehow I want to get these to connect to these 2 roundabouts, which is also really neat in my opinion. So, and I've also got to get this all to connect to a bridge. So, but I think I want to upgrade these roundabouts. I'd like for them to be, they're going to have to be a little bit bigger if they're going to merge to the highway. That's, one of the more difficult things when you build an elevated highway like this. Getting, things to merge correctly and getting things to look correct is extremely finicky and extremely difficult. But I think that's a big part of the process of this game, and something that I kind of want you guys to come along with, and really is a part of the purpose. In the very beginning, I kind of skipped in the first episode a lot of the road building, because that's just boring generic stuff that people don't want to watch. But I want to share building like this bridge here. It is, we're gonna go, I think, looking at all these bridges. I think I want to go this double-decker bridge because it's new, but this is very, very finicky, intricate building in this game. You do have to be 40 meters high in order to pass over this waterway below. So, and I do want to make sure that I don't cut off the channel here, because the water channel, because you do, obviously I want industry here, I want fishing, I want, offshore drilling, all that kind of stuff. So I have to leave that open in order for my boats to get in and out. And who knows, I may even end up doing some, transportation through that as well, some cruise ships and whatnot, bringing tourists in, bringing outside travelers in. So I think the best way to do this, and I've practiced this before, guys, this is not my first time placing roads like this and building bridges. I messed with this quite a bit. In my experience is to build up like this and then switch into a 2-lane and go with a custom road. And we're going to kind of build, I think out to the right and get it to connect and snap. Kind of a semicircle, if you will. And this is the finicky part, guys. This is the part that is, a little bit difficult. Not exactly the easiest to do. And we're going to go top side and come back down and see if we can't get it to connect. And as you can see, slope's too steep. It doesn't want to connect, and even when it does, look, it's going out too far. I don't want it to look silly, right? So you kind of want to catch it at the right angle. Still don't like that. I think still don't. It's like it's not far enough. You almost have to get it perfect. It is difficult for sure. I think that's more the angle that I'm looking for. And perspective's everything, guys. So I'll zoom out here, and I don't like this. I don't think that's correct. So I'm gonna bulldoze this section here, and we're gonna try again. And move the snap point back a little bit here and see if this helps. And I think Still don't like that. It needs to be out a little bit further. Still not far enough. Maybe to there. And I think that looks a lot better. And that's much better looking, guys. And I think the next thing that we're going to jump into here is we're going to do a time lapse of connecting to these roundabouts. Here we go. And we're back here, guys. And that kind of went a little bit smoother than what I thought it was going to. Didn't turn out too bad, those connections, and now we've left all this space here for building. I'm going to let people take a guess as to what they might think is coming over this direction. But I definitely wanted all that open space left for the future. And I think the next agenda is going to be, the next on the agenda is going to be to place more roads. We're going to need to develop a little bit more. If you take a look in the bottom left, we have a ton of residential demand, a ton of high residential, medium density residential. We don't have high yet. Medium density and so on and so forth. So we've got some people that definitely want some development and want to progress further here in Port Union, which is great. Those are great things. And continuing my tradition, I do not want to build everything perfectly square. I kind of want to change things up a little bit there, and kind of build a community, a suburb, a place where families want to live. People want to grow and develop great jobs, career paths, all that kind of stuff. I want it to be that kind of place where somebody moves to better their life for their family, if you will. And this is part of the uniqueness, I think, what I was talking about earlier with Port Union, not doing everything perfectly square, not doing everything was generic and boring. And I think they can only help your community and your city speak volumes to itself when you have that kind of uniqueness. So, I think, in my honest opinion, there is such a thing as going too overboard with uniqueness. I think some people do it in an attention-seeking kind of way, and some people gravitate towards that. For me, that kind of is a pet peeve of mine. I don't like that, but to each their own. I don't want to be so overtly unique that it comes across as petty for attention. That's kind of immature in a way. And we're going to go ahead and hit play here and begin to let the world develop further. As you can see, that didn't really do much for the residential. Oh, there we go. Low density starting to come down some, but I kind of want to see and know how this roundabout and these highway connections are going to work here. So far, I think they are working perfectly fine. They're sufficing. I don't see a ton of traffic or backup there. I think we're going to just go ahead, though, and make these a double. In my honest opinion, that's probably going to be the best option. That way it can handle more connection, because that is going to be a main choke point at some point fast to the imagination. I don't like this. I don't like that connection, and I think it's going to be about time to change this up. I kind of want this to be more straight here and a more direct connection. So we've got to buy some map tiles here to get this connected, and I think we're going to purchase all of those And even though it's a pretty penny, again, I'm on easy, so map tile upkeep is not on. I don't have to pay, huge land taxes and stuff on it. But since we won't need it, we can delete every bit of this highway. And this is where I guess a little bit of my own OCD comes out, obsessive compulsiveness. I like things to be, more like natural looking. Why would you build a windy road like that to connect over when you can, just do a straight highway connection to the city and then do, an overt road off to the side, right? Obviously, turn on dual lane highway. That is going to be key here, and that's a mistake. I should have had a custom road on, so go ahead and try that again. And again, there we go, curving. So that way we can kind of throw it out this direction first. We want it to curve over towards our main road here, our main connection, and then we'll kind of swing it back the other direction. And I want this to curve early because I have plans, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. Curve it back towards our main connection into our city, into Port Union. And this leaves all this space out in the open. And what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to use the intersection. And I'm going to pick an intersection here that I think is going to work. And I think we may... I don't think that's going to be the right one. I think this would definitely be the better choice if I had the choice. I think we're going to have to turn snapping off, or it's going to try to snap both sides. And if we do this right, we could actually get it to connect straight to this. This is definitely one of the more difficult things to do in this game, if you can't tell. It is definitely very finicky, and we want both connection points there on the right to make contact with the highway, and then that way I won't have to do any snapping or any road placement. I think that's kind of the goal here. But I also want to make sure it's lined up to connect with the main highway, and I think that's the placement that we're going to roll with. And we can go ahead and grab the rest of our highway here and see if we can't get it to connect. And of course it's still doing dual highway here, so go ahead and snap that on, and that actually doesn't look half bad, guys. That works out pretty well. We can connect our highway out this direction. If we actually snap it, and we can curve the road and make it look much more natural, and continue to build it out this direction till about there. And I think from here what we're going to probably do is make a main road in, just a single road that would connect. And I think what we'll do is replace this road and make it connect just like that, and then we should be able to snap them directly together like so. And that should be perfect. And actually delete that little section of road as well. And we will make our singular connections in here. It's actually a dual road here instead. So we will turn off our parallel mode here and connect that road and get it to snap like so. Perfect. And go on the right hand side, the opposite direction, and get it to snap the other direction. Perfect. No left hand turn here. Perfect. That way they can't, it's not really a U-turn point, guys. And I like that connection coming in much more here. It makes a lot more sense for me anyways. And I think we're going to just upgrade these roads entirely and make this, get rid of the dirt road section here. And I think it makes more sense to build these concrete roads inwards. That way it's not pushing anything too far out in the opposite direction. Obviously we're up against the border limit here. I've got something in here that's preventing me from being able to upgrade this. So to figure out what that is. Oh, those are not connecting properly, so we are going to have to delete that and rebuild. Just like so. Go back to straight roads here. Go ahead and snap that on. And we're going to have to make sure all of this is back to yellow and commercial. After moving those, it will actually push the road back a single tile, and if it's not signified, it will not build there, right? So go ahead. I'm wondering if these are the reason why it's not wanting to build, and with no development here yet, I think it'd be smart to move the windmill here. It is, for some reason, though. No, it's not. For some reason, it doesn't want to upgrade these roads. I wonder what it is that's preventing that. I wonder if it's that middle connection. It is. I don't know why, but that did not, with that dirt road there, it did not want to place that. It did not want to build. I think we'll leave the middle roads dirt. I think we're going to leave the outside cement. That way it's more of a, interconnection is going to be, your dirty, like almost like alleys, I guess you would say. So make sure again that all this is yellow after all this road construction has been completed. That looks much better, guys, and we can go ahead and hit play and let all that develop back out. And I want to make sure here this is more what I'm after. I want it to look. I don't like the way that road looks, the connection there. I think we could redo that bit and make it look a little bit better. So we're gonna go ahead and redo our snap points here real quick. And in my opinion, that looks considerably better once you take the snap points out. That's a lot better. Oop, I accidentally went to the main menu there. Pushed escape too many times, guys. We'll go ahead and hit play here and get this rolling again. And we'll see, get the world to continue to develop, and we'll see how our new connections are handling traffic. But for me, in my opinion, I like the way the traffic flows better now. This is more of a straight shot, and this actually looks, like a highway that could be designed this way. More intentional, more with purpose. One of the things that I'm noticing right away that I'm looking at is on these outside quays, we have a ton of parking. It appears like residents are trying to park, and I don't like that. So one of the things that you can do in this game to remove that or remedy that is to line either side of the road with trees. So we're going to go ahead and do that to push traffic away, push parking away, and I guess essentially traffic as well. And who knows, we may end up updating, buses or taxi lanes at some point, bike lanes. So we probably need to get rid of the parking anyways. It's just not ideal. And this is one of these kind of cool management feature things about this game that most people don't even know that you can do this. It is, doing traffic mitigation or parking mitigation, putting parking lots down, and you can actually make money off of the parking lots as well. So eventually, we'll segue into making money off of public parking. That will probably happen. So. And as you can see, you can add sidewalks, grass, lights, sound barriers. There's all different kinds of upgrades that can come eventually. So we're going to probably make sure we don't need to remove parking from any other sides. I think we're going to remove it a little bit here. So we'll put grass on either side of this main road, making it look much more traditional and well taken care of. And I think that's important when you're looking for a community to live in and, somewhere to possibly raise children, to build a career. You want to find somewhere that is being looked after, sought after. So definitely, I think a big move for Port Union. And I think it obviously costs a higher upkeep per roadway, but, at the end of the day, it's probably worth it. To invest in that, in my opinion. So population's in a good place and still growing, and that's kind of what we're looking at. We don't want it to stagnate at this point. We definitely want it to continue to grow. So and we'll probably continue expanding our road layout here. I think it's kind of needed at this stage because there still is residential demand. There are still people that are trying to move into Port Union, so it is definitely going to be needed. And I don't want this to be like a huge subdivision. It just needs to be kind of a little cul-de-sac area, little expansion to the community. Nothing too big, nothing too major. Just something to add some more homes to the vibe, to what's going on here in Port Union. So Obviously, we need to expand our residential, or nobody's going to move in. Zoning. So, I think we'll go ahead and get that ball rolling. Yeah. All right. So the next thing that I wanted to look at, guys, is transportation. And if you notice in the highway, in the top of your screen, all of the taxis coming in and out, I think it would be very, very, very beneficial to do a taxi depot. Um, maybe the large one's not the best bet because of the cost of the upkeep. I could squeeze a little one in here, and I think it would absolutely benefit Port Union to have this as an option for people to come in and out and to be able to use. And it's an outside hub, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at for Port Union. If you notice a little traffic jam here, I think it'd be also beneficial to make this a double lane entry, and immediately the traffic is mitigated and gone. So that's exactly what was needed for that in that circumstance. So and we, looking at this, that is much, much better traffic flow. Everything looks very, very natural. To raise property value in this game, it is very beneficial to build, parks and recreation. These lighthouses are new. That's not something that I've ever seen before. But back to land value, the nicer the park, like this Chirper Park, is going to have a high land value compared to something like, a barbecue pit or a dog park, per se. Sorry to all the dog lovers out there, but it is, it's not the same as like a plaza style park, if you will. So as you can see, all of the stars across the board, everybody in the community absolutely enjoys that type of thing. They want parks, they want recreation. It definitely helps the entire community in the long run. So and like I said and mentioned a second ago, a dog park is probably going to be valued next, and I think I could plop it over on the side here. This would be a perfect location for it, and that helps. And you can see the green on the map, how much it helps the community with value. So as we can continue to, we can plop another park over here, and it'll raise everybody in this community as well. So it's definitely something that I think is big right off the bat. Obviously there's cost and upkeep to these, but it's definitely well worth it in the long run. It helps spike your population just that much more. So and I don't want to have them absolutely littered everywhere, but enough to definitely raise values across the board. So this is not a bad start, guys. A lot of development in this one, a lot of expansion to come. This is, kind of boating to the future of what Port Union's going to be. This is, a big step here, adding this bridge in and making a straight connection, like I talked about from the very beginning. So visions are starting to come to fruition here, guys. Population's in a good place, money's in a good place, happiness is spiking. So we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Take care.